All right, let's dive in. You've handed us this, well, frankly, huge stack of notes on Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang.
Wow, yeah.
They're full of, it looks like everything from history and economics to, like, personal thoughts and even some slang.
I see you've been doing your homework.
Definitely been doing some research.
Yeah.
So let's see what we can uncover together.
Okay, well, the thing that just pops out to me right away is how these three provinces are so interconnected. I mean, they're all on the eastern coast of China. And get this, the Yangtze River, which is the longest river in all of Asia, flows through all three of them.
Oh, wow.
You know, that shared geography, I mean, it must have had a huge impact on how their histories and cultures, kind of developed together.
Yeah, it's like they're practically neighbors, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with Jiangsu.
Uh-huh.
I have to say, I love this nickname, Land of Fish and Rice.
Yeah.
It just makes it sound so abundant, like, a scene straight out of a painting.
Right.
And it makes sense, right? All those waterways and fertile plains. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. But there's more to Jiangsu than just, its physical abundance.
Yeah.
Think about it. This was a historical hub for Confucian scholarship and that famous imperial examination system.
Right.
Cities like Nanjing were just packed with scholars and ambitious students, So you've got this layer of intellectual pursuit kind of woven into Jiangsu's identity.
So it's not just about agriculture, it's about brains too.
Exactly.
Okay, my notes mention Kunku opera.
Mm-hmm.
It originated in Jiangsu, and is considered one of the oldest and most elegant opera traditions in China. And, get this, it actually inspired Peking opera, which is like the one everybody knows.
I find it fascinating that elegance and refinement are practically just baked into Jiangsu's cultural DNA.
Really?
Yeah, you look at Suzhou embroidery, it's one of the 4 great embroideries of China. And it's so incredibly detailed, people often mistake it for paintings. It was even used to decorate the robes of emperors and given as gifts to, important foreign visitors. That says something about Jiangsu's dedication to, quality and beauty.
Yeah, it's like they took go big or go home to a whole new level.
Totally.
Speaking of Suzhou, my notes talk about this lantern festival in Qinhuai. It sounds magical. During Chinese New Year, the Qinhuai River in Nanjing is just like decked out with these incredible lantern displays. I can only imagine how stunning that must be.
Oh, I bet.
Then there's Jiangyan Sisu music featuring traditional string and wind instruments.
Oh.
And here's a fun fact. The world-famous folk song, Jasmine Flower, came from Jiangsu.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been performed at the Olympics.
Wow.
So cool.
Yeah, it's true. Jiangsu is a province bursting with art and beauty. But, it's also important to remember the darker chapters of its history, too.
Yeah.
Like the Taiping Rebellion, one of the deadliest uprisings in human history, actually, originated in Jiangsu. And then there's, of course, the Nanjing Massacre during World War II, a truly horrific event.
Yeah, it's important to remember all facets of history. Okay, I'm switching gears here a bit.
Yeah.
All this talk about Jiangsu is making me hungry.
Yeah.
It's famous for its sweet and savory flavors, right? and get this, the soup dumpling was invented in Changzhou.
No way.
I know. Imagine that delicate dumpling and then it bursts with that delicious broth in your mouth. Then they have sweet and sour mandarin fish, which is like presented in this crispy squirrel shape. I wonder how they even do that.
That's a good question.
Have you ever tried Yanzu fried rice?
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic for a reason.
While all this food talk is tempting, maybe we should think about why this focus on Jiangsu's cuisine is so captivating for you.
You think it reflects something about me?
Well, I mean, your notes, it seems like you're drawn to exploring new things, you have diverse interests, and, well, that kind of aligns with Jiangsu's cultural offerings, right?
I mean, I guess so.
You appreciate history, beauty, and, of course, good food.
Okay, guilty as charged. All right, time to move on to our next destination. Shanghai. I can already feel the energy shift just thinking about this bustling metropolis.
Shanghai is a city that really embodies reinvention. It just never stops evolving and adapting. It kind of blends this Chinese heritage with Western influences, much like your own, eclectic interests.
Okay, that reinvention theme, that's really resonating with me. So, quick trip back in time, my notes mention the Opium Wars and the Treaty of Nanjing.
Mm-hmm.
These events forced China to open up trade ports, including Shanghai. And that's a big reason why the city grew so rapidly. But it was really in the 1920s and 30s that Shanghai became known as the Paris of the East.
Oh, yeah.
Think jazz music, glamorous nightlife, and cutting-edge fashion.
All happening at the same time. Yeah,
Hmm.
it really took off. Of course, it's a stark contrast to the later Japanese occupation during World War II, a dark period that left a significant mark on the city.
Right, there are always ups and downs.
Yeah.
Then, from the 1990s onwards, Shanghai experienced this unbelievable economic boom. It became a global financial center and a symbol of China's rise on the world stage. You can actually see this transformation in the city's skyline, right? You've got the historic Bund with its European-style buildings,
Yeah.
and then these futuristic skyscrapers like the Oriental Pearl Tower and the Shanghai Tower.
It's like a clash of time periods.
Speaking of clashes, Shanghai's fashion scene is super diverse too.
It is.
It's like a blend of European high fashion and streetwear.
Uh-huh.
You can really feel the city's pulse in trendy districts like Xintiandi.
Yeah.
Oh, and we can't forget about the movies. Wong Kar-wai's film In the Mood for Love captures that dreamy nostalgia of Shanghai perfectly.
It does.
I wonder if that feeling is what draws so many people to the city.
I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like you two embrace both the traditional and the modern, always eager to explore new experiences and knowledge. Your notes on the city, from its historic landmarks to the fashion, it suggests a real appreciation for both the past and the present.
All right, so we've experienced that energy of Shanghai. Now let's change the pace a bit and head to Zhejiang.
Okay.
It's a province known for its natural beauty and rich cultural heritage.
You know what strikes me is the contrast between Zhejiang's kind of laid-back atmosphere and the constant motion of Shanghai.
Right.
It's like taking a deep breath after a whirlwind adventure.
I like that.
Zhejiang is often called the land of silk. It highlights its long history as a major silk producer in China.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't, underestimate the impact silk had on Chinese culture. It was a major commodity on the ancient Silk Road, connecting China to the rest of the world.
Oh, wow. Speaking of global connections, let's talk about tea.
Tea.
Zhejiang is famous for Longjing tea. It's considered one of the finest teas in China.
It is.
I'm picturing these stunning rolling hills covered in tea plantations. And, the air is just filled with this aroma of freshly brewed tea. So relaxing.
And those traditional tea ceremonies in Zhejiang are really something to see. They blend ritual and artistry, a testament to the province's deep respect for its heritage.
You know what? I actually found some fascinating historical tidbits while I was doing my research.
Oh.
Did you know one of China's earliest civilizations, the Neolithic Hemudu culture, actually started in Zhejiang?
Wow.
We're talking over 7,000 years ago.
That's incredible.
I know. And during the Song Dynasty, Hangzhou, which is Zhejiang's capital, was actually described by Marco Polo as, get this, the finest city in the world.
And it's not just hyperbole. Hangzhou's West Lake, with its picturesque scenery, it's been inspiring poets and artists for centuries.
Yeah. Speaking of impressive sights, Zhejiang is also home to the Cantang River tidal bore. It's the largest tidal wave phenomenon on the planet. They even have a festival for it during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Can you imagine? Witnessing those massive waves surging up the river.
That would be amazing.
Right.
But speaking of powerful experiences, let's not forget Zhejiang's cuisine.
Oh, my stomach is rumbling again. Tell me everything.
Well, Zhejiang cuisine is known for its fresh seafood, and they use a lot of local ingredients like Shaoxing wine, which adds this unique depth of flavor to their dishes. Have you ever tried dongpo pork?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's braised pork belly dish named after the famous poet Su Dongpo, or Westlake vinegar fish. It's a sweet and sour delicacy that'll just tantalize your taste buds.
Okay, you've convinced me. Zhejiang needs to be added to my travel bucket list. And soon.
I have a feeling you'd love it. Each of these provinces, Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang, they offer such a unique perspective on Chinese culture. It's like we've been on this whirlwind tour of 3 different worlds, each with its own distinct character and charm.
It's incredible how much diversity exists within China, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface. There's so much more to uncover.
Right. It feels like we've opened up this treasure chest, and now it's up to us to explore all the gems inside.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away, let's take a quick pause. We'll be back in a moment to delve even deeper into these fascinating provinces. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Before we wandered off to, grab some snacks, I hear those Zhejiang dishes are calling your name.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about the deliciousness of Zhejiang province.
Right.
But there's one city in particular that I think often gets overlooked. Wenzhou.
Oh, Wenzhou. Yeah, my notes say it's a coastal city with a really strong entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
They even call it China's Jerusalem.
I've heard that.
because of its large Christian population and the history of people kind of, emigrating overseas. I'm seeing some connections to our listener here who, seems to have a knack for spotting unique opportunities and thinking outside the box.
Exactly. Windsor really embodies that blend of being rooted in tradition while also, looking outward to the world.
Right.
It's a fascinating case study in how a city can balance those two impulses.
Hmm. I'm seeing some interesting notes about the Wensanese dialect.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like it's so distinct that even other Chinese speakers have trouble understanding it.
It's true. The Wensanese dialect is considered one of the most difficult to grasp for outsiders.
Okay.
It's a testament to the region's unique cultural identity and how geography can shape language over time.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about the stories and perspectives that have been preserved within that dialect.
Definitely makes you want to dig deeper, doesn't it?
It does.
But enough about language for now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that really stood out to me in my research, the architecture.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, the classical gardens of Suzhou.
Mm-hmm.
They're UNESCO World Heritage Sites for a reason. I mean, they're like miniature landscapes,
Yeah.
Artfully designed to blend nature, art, and philosophy.
You know what's so remarkable about these gardens is how they use space and perspective.
Right.
It's not just about beautiful plants and water features. It's about creating a sense of tranquility and harmony. It's no wonder they inspired so many poets and painters throughout history.
Yeah, it's like each garden is a poem in itself.
It is.
And then you have something like Nanjing City Wall.
Oh, yeah.
A complete contrast to those serene gardens.
Right.
It's the best preserved Ming Dynasty wall in all of China. And it stretches for over 21 miles.
That's incredible.
I'd love to walk along that wall and just feel the weight of history under my feet.
It's amazing how these, structures offer such a tangible connection to the past. And
Yeah.
and speaking of tangible connections, what about the picturesque water towns of Zhejiang,
Boy,
Wuzhen, Shitang, Nangsun? They all have this ancient charm. Imagine strolling along canals, crossing these stone bridges, seeing these beautiful wooden houses. It's a glimpse into a slower, more traditional way of life.
that's the kind of travel that really appeals to me, like getting lost in the atmosphere of a place.
I get that.
We've talked about Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang's individual cuisines. But what about the, common threads? What are some of the flavors and ingredients that tie them together?
Well, one thing that unites these three provinces is this focus on freshness and seasonality.
Right.
Whether it's, seafood from the coast, vegetables grown in those fertile plains, or those delicate tea leaves from the mountains, there's a deep respect for the bounty of nature. It's like they're letting the ingredients speak for themselves.
That makes total sense. I'm thinking about how Zhejiang cuisine
Yeah.
uses Shaxing wine.
Yeah.
It's a local ingredient that adds a depth of flavor you just can't replicate.
Exactly.
And then there's that hint of sweetness that pops up in some Jiangsu dishes,
Uh-huh.
like that sweet and sour mandarin fish we were talking about.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget the staples, soy sauce, ginger, garlic, scallions. They're like the foundation of flavor in all three provinces. They add those savory notes and aromatic complexity to just countless dishes.
It's a symphony of flavor.
It is.
But what about the dining experience itself? Are there any unique customs or traditions that stand out to you?
Well, one custom that's really central to Chinese dining is the concept of sharing dishes.
Mm.
Instead of everyone having their own plate, there's this variety of dishes in the center of the table, and everyone picks and chooses what they like. It's a very social and communal way of eating.
I love that. It's about experiencing a whole range of flavors and textures together, right?
Exactly.
And it encourages conversation and connection. Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the people who call these provinces home.
Okay.
What are some of the personality traits or cultural values that jump out to you?
Well, something that really caught my eye in your notes was the emphasis on education and hard work.
Right.
These are regions with a long history of scholarship and intellectual pursuits.
Yeah.
And that's reflected in a culture that really values achievement and success. It's not about just, getting by. It's about striving for excellence.
Yeah. I'm also seeing this theme of community and family ties.
Absolutely.
These values seem to be really deeply woven into the fabric of these provinces.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense of belonging and shared responsibility.
You're absolutely right. Family is the cornerstone of Chinese society, especially in these, more traditional regions.
Right.
Respect for elders is incredibly important, and there's this strong sense of obligation to care for family members.
So it's a collectivist culture,
Yeah.
where the well-being of the group is put above individual desires. But here's where it gets interesting, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's this push and pull between tradition and modernity. These provinces are like at the forefront of China's economic growth and technological advancement. They're embracing the future.
Absolutely. Think about Shanghai, a global financial hub that attracts ambitious young professionals from all over. It's a city that thrives on innovation and change. It's a place where entrepreneurs and dreamers come to make their mark.
And yet even in a city as modern as Shanghai, you still find these pockets of traditional life.
You do.
From those peaceful tea houses to the ancient temples to the maze-like Longtang alleyways, it's like the past and present are constantly in dialogue with each other.
It's a dynamic interplay that makes these provinces so captivating. They're constantly evolving, finding ways to blend the old and the new, the local and the global. It's like they're writing their own unique story of progress.
Speaking of global, I'm really fascinated by the impact these provinces are having on the world stage. We've already touched on silk and tea, but there's so much more to their story.
Oh, yeah. Think about the incredible technological innovations coming out of Zhejiang.
Yeah.
Companies like Alibaba are leading the way in e-commerce and digital payments. They're shaping how the world interacts and does business.
And then you have Jiangsu, right?
Right.
A manufacturing powerhouse producing like everything from electronics to textiles to solar panels. They're essential players in the global supply chain.
It's clear that these provinces have serious economic clout.
Yeah.
But their cultural influence is also on the rise.
I agree.
From fashion and film into music and art, they're making their mark on the global stage.
It's like they're exporting a fresh vision of China, one that's, confident, creative, and connected to the rest of the world.
Exactly. They're not afraid to embrace their heritage while also, pushing boundaries and challenging expectations.
Right.
They're showing the world that China is this multifaceted and dynamic force to be reckoned with.
And it's not just about, economics and technology.
Right.
These provinces are also home to some of China's most beautiful and historically significant sites. They offer a chance to connect with the past in a truly immersive way.
You're absolutely right. Think about the breathtaking West Lake in Hangzhou.
Oh, yeah.
It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that's inspired, poets and artists for centuries. Its beauty is timeless and transcends cultural boundaries.
Or those ancient Buddhist temples scattered throughout Zhejiang.
Yes.
Some dating back over 1,000 years. Each one holds centuries of stories, beliefs, and artistic traditions.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the Bund in Shanghai, right? It's a stunning waterfront promenade lined with colonial era architecture, a reminder of the city's complex history and its intersection with global forces.
These are the kinds of places that draw travelers from all over the world,
Right.
eager to experience the magic and wonder these provinces have to offer.
They're destinations that truly have something for everyone.
Yes.
Whether you're interested in history, culture, nature, or just, soaking up the energy of a vibrant and evolving region, they're like living museums, constantly in motion.
I think it's safe to say that Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang are provinces on the rise. They're at the heart of China's economic and cultural transformation, and I have a feeling they'll play an even bigger role on the world stage in the coming years.
Yeah, it sounds like they're leading the way, showing the world what's possible when tradition meets innovation.
Exactly.
But we've covered so much ground today, and it feels like we've only just begun to explore the depths of these provinces.
It's true. Every layer we peel back reveals even more complexity and beauty.
Right.
It's like we've opened a door to a whole new world.
And I, for one, am eager to keep exploring. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up our deep dive into these fascinating provinces. Stay with us. All right, and we're back for the final part of our journey through Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang. It's amazing how much we've talked about, but, I still feel like we've barely scratched the surface of these provinces.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Each province is like a like a microcosm of China itself, with this blend of history, culture, and even language.
Right.
But what's fascinating to me is that even with all those differences, there's this strong sense of shared heritage and values connecting them.
You're right. It's like they're individual pieces of this much larger, more intricate puzzle. And speaking of puzzles, I came across something interesting in my notes about, those language differences. It seems like there's a popular saying in both Jiangsu and Zhejiang that goes, above is heaven, below are Suzhou and Hangzhou.
Yeah. Shangya Tiantang, Shayan Suhang. It's such a beautiful way to describe the admiration people have for those two cities. They really are considered paradises on earth.
I love how a simple saying can just reveal so much about a culture's values, right? It shows how these provinces, even though they're so close geographically, they develop these distinct identities, each with their own unique flavor.
Yeah.
And that actually reminds me of something we were talking about earlier, that diversity of Chinese dialects.
Right. That linguistic diversity really adds another layer of richness to Chinese culture.
Yeah.
Those variations in language, they often reflect unique historical influences and cultural practices. It's like a reminder that even within a single country, you can find this just incredible spectrum of human experience.
Makes you realize how much we can learn from just, embracing those differences and exploring the world with an open mind.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap things up, I have to ask you, what's the one thing that's really stuck with you from all this information? Like, what's the nugget of wisdom you're going to share at your next dinner party?
Oh, that's a tough one. There have been so many fascinating insights, but I think what I find most compelling is how these provinces are navigating that tension between tradition and modernity.
Yeah.
On the one hand, they're deeply rooted in their history and culture, but on the other hand, they're embracing innovation and change at such a rapid pace.
Right.
They're not afraid to look to the future while still honoring their past.
And that's what makes them so captivating, right? It's like they're writing this new chapter in the story of China.
Exactly. And that's what makes these provinces so intriguing, both for those who live there and those who visit. They offer a glimpse into a future that's still being written. A future where, ancient traditions can coexist with cutting-edge technology, where global influences kind of blend seamlessly with local customs. It's a future full of exciting possibilities.
Yeah, it's like they're showing us that progress doesn't have to mean abandoning our roots. Instead, it can be about finding creative ways to weave the old and the new together to create something, truly unique and inspiring.
And that's a lesson we can all take to heart, no matter where we are in the world.
So to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions. That journey of discovery never really ends.
It doesn't.
There's always something new to learn about Jiangsu, Shanghai, and Zhejiang, and about China as a whole.
Think of this deep dive as a starting point, a spark to ignite your curiosity.
I like that.
We've given you the map and some essential tools, and now it's your turn to chart your own course through this fascinating landscape.
So where will you go next? What hidden gems will you uncover? The adventure awaits.
Until next time, keep diving deep.